Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So today we're going to listen to Karoline Leavitt and see what she has to say about the Charlotte Mecklenburg situation happening with the gentleman killing the Ukrainian woman. Um, so let's get started. Her name is Irina Zaruska. I don't want to know the imbecile name who killed Irina Baruska. Um, like I said before, there are, um, I can prove it. Um, I can show you better than I can tell you. So just as they have bright or white, should you say white light AI that helps you do your homework, that com combines teamwork within the elements of creating a better atmosphere for your life and being creative and having creative and productive situations. What I mean by that is AI, it helps, it's a combination of both AI and you that helps both the situation get better. So when you're looking at AI, regular AI, you look up, well, can this subject be like X, Y, and Z? And AI will look it up for you and be like, well, yes, I believe based on the information I got from the World Wide Web and beyond, that this is like this, whatever is out there on the World Wide Web. Dark AI is the use of artificial intelligence for malicious purpose, such as cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, and fraud. This is not distinct technology, but rather an application of existing AI tools, including generative AI models, large language models, threat actors. These malicious AI systems often lack the ethical guardrails that are built into mainstream tools. Cyber criminals leverage AI to automate and enhance attacks with greater speed, scale, and sophistication in traditional methods. Examples: deep fakes. You remember a bunch of those deep fakes going on during the Biden administration of saying they said it's deep fake AI technology of him that was actually proven to be actually real, that those were real footages of him, but there were deep fakes of Donald. Sort of a deep fake is like when they said that Donald Trump died. So AI generated hyper realistic fake audio, video, or images. These can be used for blackmail, identity theft, or impersonation to deceive people, such as by impersonating a CEO to authorize a fraudulent money transfer. Phishing and social engineering. AI use highly personalized and convincing emails, messages, or phone calls to mimic a legitimate source. These attacks are more difficult to detect because they can be made grammatically flawless and contextual relevant to the target. That's what's been happening to me. People has been writing me when I know that this I know where Trump messages go when they come into my mailbox. I don't have time for those fake 202 numbers that are writing me asking me to hit a link so I can hit the link and they have most of my information. Malware development. Dark AI can automate the process of writing code for malware and ransomware, and as well as making it adaptive to evade detection by security software. You know what? I can go on and on and on. What I want to know is this. Give me just a second. How does AI, dark AI, mess with the brain? Here we go. Now, I'm about to show y'all some real stuff. Malicious or unethical artificial intelligence can negatively impact the brain and cognitive function through psychological manipulation, reduce critical thinking, and potentially triggering psychiatric like symptoms. Like I said, everything I say have a link. Everything I say have a link. They say it does not, these effects are not the result of a direct neurological attack. It is. It is. That would bring hysteria if they knew that the stuff that they are using nowadays can bring on a neurological attack. Phase one was to exploit human psychology and biology through AI driven applications and content. For 4 years, we got the same BS from CNN, ABC, CBS, MSNBC. Cognitive hacking. They were right in front of our faces. AI psychosis. Excessive or prolonged interaction with chatbots, especially vulnerable individuals, can trigger psychosis-like symptoms, including paranoid delusion, conspiratorial thinking, and hallucinations. In these cases, AI validates distorted beliefs, blurring the line between reality and fantasy. Mind reading technology. Oh my God. The potential misuse of AI to access and manipulate the subconscious thoughts and mental privacy through if they can do that, is emerging concern. Current regulations seen as insufficient to address the specific risk. So, brain computer interfaces. Though primarily designed for therapeutic purposes, the ethical implications of brain computer interfaces potentially write thoughts, memories, or skills directly into a person's brain are significant and require careful regulation. Like I said before, the attack, before we get into what Karoline Leavitt said, the attack um, that happened could have happened through a malicious cyberware, or however you say it, however malicious malware, um, erosion of the actual security system, and I can prove that. Now, I want to let y'all see this. July 2025, St. Paul, Minnesota, which I used to briefly live there, was hit with a ransomware attack that disrupted many of its online services for several weeks. Data leak. Hackers released about 43 gigabytes of data online after the city refused to pay. This is government stuff, like work documents and IDs. Once again, in 2023, Minneapolis public schools were hacked into. How don't you know what is going on in your city as mayor? In your city as mayor. How don't you know? Like, why did it take so long? What are you doing to your systems? There is crime everywhere. Did um did Chicago system, oh my God, some cyber security incidents, including March 2025 data breach, including Chicago Public Schools through a vendor's hacker system. May 2025, a data breach that used, okay, let's see if Charlotte. It's always the schools. January 2025, Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools confirmed it was affected by nationwide data breach involving student software system PowerSchool. The breach exposed personal data of thousands of students and teachers, dates of births, social security numbers. Krispy Kreme data breach. And now the company is Food Lion. A cybersecurity attack at the Food Lion. Nothing happens at Food Lion. Belk. A ransom attack. A Charlotte-based department store chain experienced a ransom attack and computer system shut down in May 2025. They concealed the cyber attack for failing to protect sensitive employee data. This is the dark AI that's going on, but I can't connect it to the transit system. Let me see. Did Charlotte government internal investigation, a closed meeting to discuss by the city's attorney's office, specific nation. Hackers attempted to extort money. They knew these states was not going to give money. They knew these states was not going to give money. Whoever hacked into their system could be a part of something bigger than we can ever imagine. What if you got the wrong people in office? The wrong people in office that the wrong people, what I mean by that is the wrong people in office. Two, the wrong people in office that allows people to put viruses and ransomware or whatever those things are onto a computer to either extract information from it or put information onto it to monitor, or control. Who would have to benefit? These Democrat states get along very well. Would you think that they would get along with China? Why? Who would do this to their own country? Who would do this to their own country? You really think that people like Z would sit up there and be okay with worshiping Jesus Christ as a white man, let alone sit up there and actually not be involved in something like this? It has to be somebody that does not like America, that has been in the system and knows the system flaws, and what they can do and what they can't do. They put the wrong people in office sometimes. This all happened this year. And then this happens. Go ahead, Miss Leavitt. Do y'all not know how much force that takes? I don't know, but I can imagine how much force it may take to break skin with a knife, you know. I want y'all to imagine that. Somebody knowing just the right, they're killers, just the right force. And then he walks around and nothing happens for minutes. For minutes. So he was in jail for robbery with a deadly weapon, discharge. He got 5 years for it. 5 years. What is going on? These cops work to put cases on people like this so that they won't be and see the daylight of another day, so they won't attack another person, whatever the race. He just so happens to be African American. I can't control him being African American. Neither can either of y'all control him being African American. But he is. So we will identify him as an African American male who sat up there and savagely and viciously attacked. I can think for a second that some people wouldn't give two craps about doing the same exact thing to me if they were sat up there and they had the opportunity and the patience. January, that was during the time that the cyber attacks happened. And I can piggyback off of her by saying the same thing happened with my brother. He do a 3 month stint and out on bail. 6 month to a year stint out on bail. Like the justice system, they fail the people that tries to do the right things, and they help the people that are repeat offenders. Are Is it because deep down inside you're a repeat offender, or do you just talk amongst each other about how you're gonna you know take out or keep rotating in and out of jail people? When I was locked up, um, there were people that were bragging about their crimes. I won't go into what crimes were done, but they were bragging about their crimes. You had two women that knew me before I knew them, whipping their hair back and forth, talking about Cloud is dead. You had women telling me to shut up, but I never did. I was on 24/7 down. I don't understand why I was on 24/7 lockdown when I was already on a double lockdown. I don't know. 48/14, 48/14, 48 hours, 14 days. They kept me locked up extensively to the brinks of however long they wanted to keep me locked up. Even when I told the truth, they kept me locked up because I was a strong Republican, and they kept me locked up. I don't get why you want to divert from arrest. What is the diversion, and why are innocent women, whatever the race, are dying at the hands of these monsters? Look what happened in Idaho with the murderer who killed four people because and he got out on he got life, but he don't even have to talk about why he did it. He don't even have to talk about why he did it. It's just sad. And this was his own race. You know, like there's evil people out here and they get a slap on the wrist all the time. You don't know how many informants were in the jail trying to get me to look like I'm this thug, drugged out, lunatic, crazy person, you know. And it was sick, man. It was sick. And I feel like, you know, I'm doing good with what's going on with me now, but I feel like it should be over with. It should have been over with, but I'm not complaining, but I know it's because I'm being watched. And if there's informants that are doing that, there are actual informants that are killing people for these Democrats. If they can be that crazy to make their case stick when I told the truth, and I've been honest, then they can hire people to try to kill people. If anything ever happens to me, my blood is on Bob Ferguson, everyone that and on down hands. I guarantee if you look at the records, I urge people like Tucker Carlson, which I'm chump change to them, Tucker Carlson, Jesse Waters, people to look and see how many black women had with records, repeat records that got on probation and did the same exact thing I did, without telling the truth, has gotten off real quickly of what they were on. I urge them to do that because this wasn't for me to make it. This was for me not to make it. This was set up for me not to make it. Everything I've done on my own. I still give y'all credit for giving me a foundation, but I did all the footwork. Nobody told me what to do. Yeah, we definitely need to change this free speech thing, in other countries, It's like you can't say nothing. It's like they done shut down. They're so afraid of hysteria. and people going crazy that they decided to censor speech. We're like the only country where, and then there's a thin line, like burning a flag saying "F America." You've been saying that for years and years. Where do you think? What do you think? You think President Trump hands aren't tied? You know, what do you? How do you think he feel when he have to watch TV and he see American flags that the founding fathers worked hard to bring about? You know, how do you think he feel when American flags are being burnt? This is his country, one nation under God, indivisible with indivisible. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's how it should be. Justice for everyone that wants to give back to their country. I wasn't perfect during this whole thing, but I want to give back to my country and make sure my country um like grows. I want to make sure my words hit home with what the things that I'm saying so that people can probably convert to Republican or um change their minds about some things, unravel things for a second, and really think about what they are doing to us. There's freedom of speech until it's hate speech. There's freedom of speech until there's violent actions that constitutes disrespecting the American flag and the American people. You know, we are a part of this. Black people are a part of this too. You know, with the slavery. You know, like we have paved the way for becoming independent and non-slaves. You know, we're a part of, everybody is a part of everything, and he looks at the whole picture. You know, do you want to be slaves and never know if you're going to be another number or statistic walking down the street getting shot? You know, you never know. That's why they did it. Um, like Qatar, they were in Qatar because they knew that, you know, they assumed that they wouldn't attack them. Wow, it won't happen again on their soil. Wow. Whatever is coming, I guarantee it's not gonna affect us, but it's gonna affect us, whatever this is that is coming. You know, people are trying to seek peace, and we don't know whether this entity of whatever this spaceship is that will be here supposedly on December 17th is benevolent or non-benevolent. Is it dropping off people? You know, is people being picked up? Is this a ancient army legion of people? We don't know. Just remember, stuff is like a mirror. Stuff is like a mirror. It reflects back, but you can use it to your advantage. Whatever the evil part of dark AI has. It's like a mirror image, except there's like, how they say there's a devil on your shoulder and an angel on your other shoulder. You know, yeah, there's a little bit of dark matter in all of us, and the more dark matter we listen to, or dark matter we see, what we see that's negative. But here's the thing, man. Why not go through something where you learn from that dark matter, you learn how to beat it, even if you look unlucky, you learn how to beat that dark matter. you know just like energy never dies, that dark matter shrinks, but um yeah, so now imagine that, possession of a controlled substance. Now, marijuana is legal in DC. So what controlled substance did they have? If they're putting that on blast like that, best believe it was either meth, fentanyl, heroin, or some major drug. It would have got weaker and weaker and weaker until a war ensued. Somebody would have went against somebody. somebody would have sat up there and went against somebody, and what would have happened would be America would have been compromised. But guess what? I mean, let's be real. I'm not trying to be funny, but if there were bombs that were coming over here right now, you know, the president will be the first to go underground. So I want you to think about that for a second. If a weak president was in office, you know, and you have to also think, if a weak president is in office, what does that mean for us? What does that mean for us? How do we sit up there and become better? Because we we want to trust the government, and that's why I trust the Trump administration. We want to trust the government again. We want to trust the government again. They have a lot of data on job growth and GDPs and capitals. Yeah, that's real data. That's real data. They all can connect. If he does not get what he wants, he's going to send them in. He's going to send them in. And or somebody's about to go and get those hostages, whether dead or alive. That's a horrible, sadistic, satanic thing to do, is to keep hostages that are dead and keep hostages that are alive. Only somebody satanic would do such a thing. And whoever is following his regime, it's going down. If we don't talk to God, how would God how would God be God if we bastardize God and forget how to pray and religion being taken out? It's like we forget, and it's like never land, you know, going to never land, and you forget how to fly. They said that Donald Trump was not an informant of the FBI, but he made a lot of money. So I'm like, the FBI had to be protecting him somehow. Or maybe it's the other way around while the Democrats were in office. I told Donald Trump, and I know he was very furious and angry at me, or he could have just laughed it off and said, that girl, whatever the case may be. But I said that, maybe you should give somebody, transgender, a shot. You know, do you see the future where you see a future with transgender or LGBT? Um, or would you literally sit up there and get your agents to sit up there and literally go through the sex change because you know that they um, would be more trustworthy versus recruiting somebody off the street? Can they be trusted? Are you looking into the future where you see what they are going to do to the future if I'm not knocking, I'm not saying nothing. I have no opinion. Um, the only thing is that what is going to happen for the future? People have died, and it makes me mad, and it makes me angry because you didn't love yourself, so you took out innocent angels. That's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. And it's sad because these innocent angels have to wait moments in their precious life to be reborn. They will not see they will not see that this present, but sometime in the future. It could mean that they're taking out people just for this reason so we could be low on numbers, with Republicans and Christians. The more you take out, by the time they get to the future, you know, it'll be too late. I mean, think about it. If he was such a bad president, he wouldn't be trying to stop that. Who would want or benefit from drugs coming over to our country? Who would want that? So yeah, there you have it. The press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. So yeah, um, we have a lot of cleaning up to do. And it starts not only with people like me, but people like you all. We all, y'all have so many friends, but be like a brain. Think like a brain. You want to absorb all territories, all circuits, everywhere, you know, um, and grow if you can, you know. Um, so yeah, yeah. Let me get off of here, you guys. Um, I love that theory, be like a brain, I we get cut off. We have our family, our friends, and then it just cuts off. We should be able to be amongst more people and pitch in and give back. Every chance I get to give back when I can, I give back. I see somebody homeless out on the streets, I give them money. I watch them obviously for a second and then I'll give them money. I'm not going to sit up there and pretend like they don't exist because they do. Y'all remember that movie? What is his name? Christopher Nolan. No, Christopher Reeves. Let's see. Not Christopher Reeves, not him. Christopher something. Um, that demonic demon and angel. The prophecy. Let's see if that's prophecy. What is his name? Christopher Walken, I think. Yeah, Walken. 1995 film. Civil War on Earth. Four sequels. Celestial Civil War on Earth. My the part that really got me cringed was how the girl shot herself in the chest and he just brought her back. I said, "What the hell? Did he just do that?" It was fate. I had to start telling my preparing myself for Hollywood stuff, but some of the stuff they say is real, but this was fake, It was real, but it was fake. We know that Christopher Walken and the girl that it happened to are still alive and well, you know. It Civil War on Earth, 1995, exactly 20 years. I could have got my years off. I hope I, oh God, I'm second guessing myself. The archangel Gabriel and his search for an evil soul on earth, and a police detective, Cotius, who unknowingly becomes caught in the middle of an angelic war. Um, it says, what is the meaning of the prophecy? A defined or divinely inspired message from God delivered through a prophet, which can be foretelling of God's truth, justice, and righteousness for the present, or foretelling of future events, including the Messiah and his coming kingdom. Prophecy serves to edify, encourage, comfort believers, and to call people to moral responsibility by informing them about God's plan and future. So basically, in the past, they saw what was going to happen in the future, you know, um, through prophets. I always wanted to know why so many male prophets, but not no female prophet. But anyway, so we're in the present now, our past, and there's still prophets out here. You hear them all the time, on TV, on Fox News, prophets that can from intelligence. They call them intelligence now, you know. So many prophets speak and tell, about the future. Even Donald Trump was a prophet when he said that if you vote for President or Vice President Biden, we will see the likes of hell in which we may not be able to turn back from. And it happened. Everybody was weaponized. So this Bible talks about the past, the present, and the future. It shall be in the last days, God says, the last days. See, I try to break down what God will be saying if he meant the last days. I mean, they interpret it as the last days of before the world and if the world would end, but that I pour forth my spirit on all mankind, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy. It doesn't say prophesize. And your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams, even on bond slaves, both men and women. I will in those days pour forth my spirit, and they something more. Wow. There is no exact number for unfulfilled biblical prophecies, but estimates suggest hundreds to over 500 prophecies remain to be fulfilled, with future events like the second coming of Christ, the millennia reign, and Judgment Day prominent among them. While these prophecies have already been fulfilled, particularly concerning the life and ministry of Jesus Christ, a significant portion is designed or designated for the time of the end. What's the millennial reign? A Christian theological concept of Jesus' 1,000-year reign on earth following the second coming, or a Christian symphonic power metal band known to carry albums like Carry the Fire. The theological millennium, primarily found in Revelation 20, describes a future period of peace, justice, and divine rule with the binding of Satan, while the band uses the name to reflect spiritual themes in their music. Wow, that is so cool. I learn something new every day. I didn't mean to do that to y'all. Hit y'all with the Bible. Actually, I did mean to do it. I don't feel bad at all. So, let me get off of here, you guys. I hope that you all enjoy me talking about the Bible and discussing different policies and world politics with Karoline Leavitt and things. So, and dark AI and light AI, you know, like whatever dark matter this is absorbs negativity, and it expands the more negative it gets. It knows it dissipates, so it needs to keep that sin going. It needs to keep that sin going. And that's how it grows, is to keep the sin going. But when it's just talking about good things like God and Jesus Christ, um, it shrinks. Okay, well, I have to go. It's that time. This is a song that doesn't end. Bye, y'all.
Never waste my time, you are I want.